All right, test mic.
Oh, can this be closer?
Yeah, you can move it around. It's casual podcasts.
Hello. Ooh.
Welcome to the cozy home of the Two Set Podcast.
Our
Two
to-
Set Talks.
Our toes just touched.
Ooh.
Two set That's disgusting.
Two Set Toes.
Yeah.
The number one classical music podcast. Two Set Toes.
Two set toes. Wow. This setup took a few hours, but we finally made it. Everyone new. Welcome to Two Set Talks.
Yes, 2024. Very exciting new podcast. Yeah, I'm really excited for this first episode. I think Brett and I were thinking about, on our main channel, we're always thinking about ways to make classical music appeal to a bigger and broader audience. And I do feel like at a certain point, back in the day when we're like 100,000 subs, we can do like really nerdy classical jokes and people got it.
Yeah.
But these days we're 4 million subs and counting. I feel like sometimes we can't necessarily nerd out as much as possible. And also, I feel like, on a main channel, we want to focus on like these kind of like bigger and more epic video ideas. But then part of us miss this kind of like more intimate, kind of relaxed setting where we could kind of just really go more into detail, not rush everything, take more time. And so we decided to make a podcast.
Yeah. Two set talks. That's what it's called.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot. So
Yeah. It was also, I think this podcast is also for us to get a chance to, for the fans out there that want to hear more about what happens, kind of in our daily life behind the scenes,
true, yeah.
all these things,
Unfiltered. Transparent.
transparent, all the things that happen. So
No filters.
exactly, and it totally.
Yeah, but no, definitely. I think, we're thinking about like what type of things we can talk about. But on one hand, we can talk about, just our experiences or things that we learned practicing. On the other hand, we can just talk about what it's like being YouTubers, as classical musician YouTubers. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. We'll make some different episodes and you can tell us what you like.
That's right. So here we begin the first podcast of
Yes.
Two Set Talks in 2024.
So I think for today's episode, since we're about to go on the road again for our second year of this world tour, right? So last year we went to Hong Kong,
Helsinki, Berlin, London, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver.
my brain.
And then let me get the
stopped.
10 cities in the States. So it'll be like Seattle,
wrap it.
LA, San Francisco, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Houston, Boston, Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C.
We did a talk at Yale too, which is pretty
Oh, we
cool.
did talk at Yale. Did I miss
Yeah.
a city?
I wasn't listening. I spaced out. Say it again.
San Francisco, LA, Seattle, Houston, Atlanta, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. There's one more.
2 more.
No, only one more.
There's 10 cities. You guys said 8.
I thought I said 9.
Did you?
Seattle, LA,
Oh no, let's go in order. So we went to New York first.
New York.
Then we did a talk at Yale, but that wasn't
No,
a concept.
Yale was first. We did
Yale,
Yale first.
then New York,
New York, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Washington
Washington.
D.C.,
Then we went to Houston,
Houston,
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Chicago.
Yes, Boston and Chicago. Then LA, San
Boston.
Fran, and Seattle. 10.
Yeah,
Nice.
there you
Sorry,
go.
fans from Chicago. Don't worry, I didn't forget.
Chicago is sick. I like Chicago, but the Bean was under construction, so that was very sad. Our team, many of them first time going to Chicago. They're very excited to see the Bean.
Yeah, we all went out to downtown and then construction.
Yeah, but alas,
That's why I forgot. But
Yeah.
that means we got to go back.
Yeah, I think, so where we're going next, we're going to Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, and Auckland. And Singapore got 2 shows coming up.
Yep.
Is there any you're most excited about?
I feel like I should be more excited about Perth since I've never been there. But
But
it's Perth,
I heard the...
Have you been?
No, I've never been.
Perth, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people from East Side Australia just like,
Just never go because it's like a 5-hour flight.
yeah.
You can go to like Japan.
True.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's not. It almost feels like a different side of the country, and there just hasn't been the right motivation. But now we do, because
Yes.
Perth two-setters, we're coming
I
to
know.
perform.
We sold out in Perth. How crazy is that? I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe there are two-setters in Perth. That is so cool.
That's really funny. Okay, I mean, I'm also excited for the Sydney Opera House in Sydney.
Mm.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that sold out in like,
Like a day or two. I think it was like a day we sold out.
yeah,
But it was like, I mean, for those of you who know, been following our channel, I used to work there, so it's kind of like cool to go
True.
back and see what it's like, especially in a new concert hall.
mm,
So when I worked there, they were like testing out the halls and stuff.
mm.
Seeing
That's
how-
crazy too, because 5 years ago we performed in the Opera House with the tiny recital
Yeah, the Utzon,
studio?
Utzon room, yeah.
Utzon room, and that was like what 200 seats,
200, yeah.
and we were so like, oh my god, we sold 200 seats.
Yeah.
And now it's just mind blowing that we sold what 2,000 something.
2000 something the Opera House. Yeah, full house. And I think everyone wanted a second show, but we just don't have the time, to be honest.
Yeah, but next time.
Next time, for sure. For those that miss out, they'll be back, hopefully in the future.
Mm.
But today, we're going to be talking about the tour as well. So,
Yeah.
on the topic of venues.
Yeah. So for those of you musicians out there that may be watching and thinking, "Wow, Tuset can organize their own tour. Can I?" Well, this is the podcast for you, right? We're gonna spill the secrets on how to organize your own tour, so you don't need to win the Queen Elizabeth before doing your own tour.
yeah. You don't need to win a series of competitions and then...
I mean, look, I think it's cool because we're in a day and age where you're able to create a career, you know, through social media, through kind of these newer ways of connecting with people, right?
Yeah.
But I think, on one hand, it was cool because it's new, but on the other hand, because it was new, there was no playbook, there was no textbook on how to do this, right? And you know, they didn't teach this in uni. They tried to have a course in our uni teaching this, but alas, it's just it can never really keep up with what's happening. And so we kind of learned a lot of things, which, you know, maybe we can share with some of you today. So many of you out there who are also kind of posting on social media, you can kind of see if this applies to you or not. But yeah, we learned a lot of lessons. Where do we begin?
I mean, oh my God. We could begin... I remember when I got the call 6 years ago of an agent that wanted to tour us.
Mm-hmm.
This is when we did our first Brisbane show and then the second show in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember making a post on Instagram actually asking fans from around the world. I mean, I didn't even know you guys were all around the world, but I asked, where should we go?
Mm-hmm.
And back then it was huge, like so many comments, like 500, 600 comments. Everyone's all around the world. So we're like, wow, we got to do this. And then, so, you know, natural thing how to do it, and it led to that Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that we did. But I still remember that call from agents saying, oh, you guys are touring for the love of music, right? So no money will be involved.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine, yes, I love music, I love classical music, I want to do this. But I was like, what are you offering? Like, how are you going to help us tour? It was just one concert as well. One concert. And I was like...
I don't remember. I just remember him basically implying that we won't be paid at all and we'd be doing it for exposure.
Yeah.
But for exposure to our own fans.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but like the idea is like, he does the logistics for us so we can focus on performing, but then he makes all the money. But we're musicians, we're not doing it. He literally said, but you're musicians, you're not in this for the money, right? Like if you were in it for the money, then you'd be doing a different career.
Yeah,
So,
no, that was crazy.
and I remember even 5 years ago, I was like,
Shocked.
that is,
Person actually said that on a call.
yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I was like an orchestra. I was like, I'm an orchestra, I'm getting paid.
Mm.
Like, it was crazy to me.
Wasn't there some people that claimed to be two cellos agents as well?
Oh yeah, so they were like these
They're super seedy.
back down memory lane. So when we first started, we were on Facebook, and then there was these people trying to buy out our Facebook page. Do you remember? They're like, oh, we want to own 50% of everything you do. Just give us your page. We've managed 2 cellos. And okay, we knew who 2 cellos was then, but we didn't know Luca and Stefan personally.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we didn't know if it was legit or not.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily we smelled so dodgy. I just felt really dodgy, and we didn't
Yeah.
go ahead. But man, like you get all these every week. Like back then, everyone's kind of coming up with these random dodgy offers and things like that, and it kind of resulted in us just doing it ourselves. I mean, that was the only option because who else was going to help us make the tour happen?
Yeah.
No one. No agency was going to pick us up besides
Yeah.
this one token dude. Like no one, because I think it's because there's no proof that's actually worked, and I mean we had no proof too. We just had to kind of trust that we had real fans out there that were willing to support us.
Do you think these people just feel like we as musicians are just like too in our art world, so that like we're easy victims? Like, what do you think? Why do you think they do these things? You know?
I mean, I think they just see opportunity, but which actually still happens today is when you offer opportunity, I'm a believer that should be win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time it's not.
Mm.
Unfortunately, like it's so obvious. If you talk to anyone, it's like you want a win-win situation for everyone. So everyone partner up, do great things, do stuff, make it happen. But more so often than not, I think, and it makes sense, they want to take as much as they can first.
Yeah.
And whenever you pick up on that, it's fine. Sure, they don't know that we know. They don't know that we know. So then you kind of make a counter offer.
Yeah.
Say, look, I know what happens, mostly anyway.
Mm-hmm.
How about we do it like this, you know? But I think that's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
usually, look, there's some people that do win-win solutions, and that's beautiful. That's when magic happens. But it still happens quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember that was before our very first... Was that before or after Kickstarter? It was before, right?
Before.
Because we were still trying to figure out how to fund the tour. But then eventually... Do you want to talk about how we got into the Kickstarter? Because it was so long ago. I feel like many new audiences might not know about it.
Oh, right. So when we started in Kickstarter, honestly, we didn't know how to get money to fund our tour. I had barely any savings. And then...
I mean, we also just quit our orchestra jobs
yeah.
at that time. So it was like...
So it's like hiring venues, all that stuff is so expensive. And I think what happened was based on what our close friends suggested. You know,
Yeah.
you should consider like crowdfunding this stuff. And we didn't really take it seriously until like a year later.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, wow, okay, we have to do this. Well, I mean, what's the other option? Sponsors, but I don't think any sponsors is gonna listen to us, right? Like they're not really gonna support us on this. To be fair, I'm not the best person at convincing people for sponsorship money as well. Like, you know, when they write those government grants
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to them. And you gotta imagine this is
It's
6,
like,
7 years
Please sponsor spelling error.
ago. Yeah, sponsor with a C. Because of that, we decided to do crowdfunding. And for those who don't know, the crowdfunding campaign was basically we looked at the business models of orchestras.
Yeah. So this is crazy.
This is freaking crazy. To this day, I still don't understand it. I mean, I kind of do, but I still don't know why it's still like this. But to this day, I mean, when we look back then, 5-6 years ago, the orchestra funding model is heavily done by sponsorships and also government funding. Only 30% is ticket sales. So assuming you sell out the hall every time, which doesn't happen, it only covers for 30% of the operating costs. So guys, imagine this. For every dollar you spend, you only get 30 cents back.
That's insane. The
Yeah.
ticketing counts for 30% of operational costs. So if they didn't have sponsors today,
It wouldn't work.
the money will just be
Yeah,
going down
it's
the
a
drain.
kind of empty bucket. Now, I'm sure it's thanks to those generous sponsors that makes the arts happen, right? But I think that was the inherent problem for us. It was like, well, our crowdfunding thing was, what if government funding stops? What if sponsors stop? There's no guarantee of that. Yeah, it's been working for the last decade or so, many years, but what if it stops? What happens to us when we get older, we have a job in orchestra? What happens? Like, are we all going out there trying to get sponsorships now? Like, what's going on? So, and then that begs the question of what's happening to the future of classical music then?
Mm-hmm.
And so then when we started this crowdfunding campaign, the story was, look, the pledge to everyone, all the fans that were supporting us is, we're gonna busk non-stop, sleep homeless outside, and we're live streaming everything as much as we can
Yeah.
until we hit our funding goal.
Yeah.
And
Because if we didn't, we would pretty much be doing that on tour, just like sleeping outside
Yeah,
and
pretty
busking
much,
to
yeah.
fund the tour, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Mm.
And also
We bought so many battery. Oh, sorry.
hello.
Good morning. It's my alarm. Sorry for that. Da-da-da. That was an F sharp, by the way, for those of you wondering.
F-sharp.
Da-da-da-dum. Oh, guys, check this out. Brett, sing a B flat. So close. That was an A.
I already know that.
Yeah.
Nah, that's relative now.
Brett is getting really close to developing perfect pitch. I don't know why.
Yeah, I put,
Something in
Weird,
the
man.
air. Just you've been developing perfect pitch.
yeah, it's so weird. But it's still very rusty.
But that used to be me. I remember when I was like 14, 15 developing it, I used to be always a semitone off or a fifth off.
Oh,
Like a resonance. So a C I think is a G. Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
that happened for about like 6 months and then it locked in.
It's so weird. Yeah, so I mean, most of the fans know that I don't have perfect pitch. I still don't really, but it was so as of recently. I'd say the last, literally couple of weeks
Mm.
from this episode was made. I started hearing like A or like
Mm.
G. Done.
Yeah, that's a G.
Some notes I can hear inside, and that's
Yeah.
the definition of perfect pitch.
Yes.
Because there's so
Yes.
much debate. Like, are you born with it, or can you train?
Well, let's find out in 6 months. I just realized, I mean, technically you did sing a B flat just in Baroque tuning.
Okay, then yeah, I got perfect. I got
So-
perfect Brock pitch.
Yes, he was practicing Bach.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
yeah.
why. But moving back, I mean, what were we talking about?
Touring, crowdfunding, yeah, Kickstarter.
Oh, yes, and then my alarm went off. So we had like Wi-Fi things, like battery packs.
Oh yeah, back then. Oh my god, like pocket Wi-Fi's, and you
Yeah.
had to have like portable chargers, charge the pocket Wi-Fi's in the phone and everything
Yeah,
on Facebook Live.
yeah, it was pretty funny. You can still like kind of, I don't know, I think maybe you can't find the footage out there. I don't know, might be floating around.
Yeah.
But I just love, even back then, there was a community that supported us so much. People came to join the busking sessions in Sydney, Pitchtree Mall.
Oh, it's crazy.
I remember,
And they'll bring bubble tea,
yeah.
bring sushi, and they had their own music. They come and they play with us.
Mm.
And these are like students, professionals in different fields, other musicians,
It was super cool.
everyone.
Yeah, and but yeah, we killed ourselves, like almost,
Yeah, literally.
and very lucky that Two Setters helped us hit the funding goal of $50,000 within 5 days. I think I traded a year of my life in those 5 days.
Probably.
I've had insomnia off and on ever since that,
That's so bad.
just because it messed up my sleep. Because I don't think I mean, I kind of knew how bad it would be to sleep outside, but you don't really know until you actually sleep outside. You can't sleep.
Yeah, you can't sleep.
It's
For those people that think you can sleep outside, you can't sleep because A, you don't have shelter. B, you're worried something's gonna happen to you.
yeah.
C,
You have a camera pointing to your face.
but everyone's watching you
Live
sleep.
streaming.
D, you get rained on,
Yeah.
which happened.
E,
Plus,
people kick you in your sleep.
people kicked me in my sleep, like wake up in the mornings, like get out of here. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You just don't sleep properly. I think something about you just know you're in danger.
Yeah.
So it's true. I think we lost a bit of our life for that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we made it because, to be honest, we had no other option.
Mm.
Like, who else was going to sponsor us
Yeah.
back then, support us? Yeah, so after that crowdfunding,
Mm.
that's what happened. We lost a bit of our life.
But I think, one really cool thing that it really did show, and for those of you out there, is like there's a certain change in perspective, and I think we've talked about this before. Maybe when you have an audience or community out there that care for you, and they actually want to help support you to have that touring career, which is so very different from how the older traditional classical music world works, which is kind of like you just win these competitions, you kind of get into this circle, this networking of like managers and touring presenters, and a lot of times you're just playing with an orchestra to an audience that doesn't even know who you are, and they're just there because they're going to the local orchestra playing some concerto that they've heard. And I think it's really cool. It's a really cool phenomenon that I'm seeing more and more these days, where musicians are able to cultivate an audience first. Rather, I think before then it's more like you start touring first, and then over time you build a fan base,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. It's definitely a new thing, and especially when we first started. Wow, no one was doing it. Like, so, which eventually led to us touring ourselves.
Yeah, and it's really cool too, because with this, it's like there's a more direct relationship with the audience. So, I mean, I don't want to name names, but there was a great violinist that he was on the level essentially of Heifetz, but because he was essentially blocked, his career was blocked by.
Careers get blocked by certain people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happens, and it's not just that. It's like it's just unfair out there. And which is why part of the channel, the stuff we make on our channel, we want to show kind of these great players, because actually some of them don't have the recognition. And I look, props to all the solos out there right now. They're all incredible, but there's a lot of great players. Like, some are better than some of the solos that are in circuit. They call it the circuit, the touring circuit.
Yeah.
And it's just how it is. Like, it's a lot of it's actually in the old traditional way. It's like you're networking, you're meeting the right agents, you're meeting the right managers and people in orchestras. And if you just piss someone off by doing something that they don't like, you essentially have your career by the balls. And yeah, like you're gone because they will not tour you. Right? I won't say who and what, but I know in like Europe, there's definitely groups like that. Like that they control a lot of the venues and things like. If you piss
A lot of the competitions are all owned by the same people behind the scenes.
yes, competitions as well. So I feel like people don't really know what's going on. Now, don't get us wrong, competitions are good in some ways, but
I feel like we can make a whole episode
yeah,
just on
actually, we've talked about that a
competitions.
lot of times. If you guys want more of that, let us know.
The amount of like stuff we've heard now,
That's terrible.
like touring the world, just hearing stories all over the world.
Like, it makes my blood boil. Just like, I get it, but how can I get away with this? And this is so not fair. Like, so not fair. But at the same time, made me even more grateful. I'm like, wow, we're so lucky. We are so lucky. I know, like, we work around the clock, but we are so lucky. But we're so grateful to have fans support us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
So, we did our first tour, and that was cool. We learned a lot. I think the first thing we learned, okay, so maybe to kind of break it down, let's say someone watching Brett today, because, okay, just to give you guys a bit of behind the scenes, people often ask, how do you, divide the work between Brett and me, right? That was really bad English. That's why I can't write a grant. But
Neither.
typically for tours, because we don't just do a typical concert. We kind of create a more creative show that's a hybrid between performing but also like storytelling. It's a bit like a musical or a theatrical act. There's acts, there's a storyline, there's
Plot
comedy,
twists.
plot. But I think, not necessarily by design, it kind of just worked out this way. But for both tours, I would say I've been more involved in the creative side, developing, and Brett's been the one to handle the whole freaking complex world of actually organizing all the venues, all the, like, whatever goes in. I don't even know. Like, but let's say, a little word of advice for someone that might be like, I want to host my own concert.
Oh.
Where should they begin? Or what mistakes from our first world tour did you learn that maybe they could avoid?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think first and foremost, you have to know yourself first. Like, I'd say it's definitely doable. I mean, I've done it, so anyone can do it. But I feel like,
What's that mean?
I mean, it's theoretically not hard. Let's be real.
Okay.
But I also feel like I can understand it's not for everyone, because even though it's not hard, it's not. It's like it's simple, but it's not easy. In some
I know
ways.
what you mean.
Like, it's simple in a concept. What? Just book a venue, dude. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Just email the venue, call the venue. Hey, do you have a date? Nice. Not available on 16th. How about 17th? No, 18th. 19th, 20th. Oh, cool. Let's get 19th. Just locked it in.
Yeah.
It's simple. But what's complex is A, juggling up the times. Because, and B, like, venue has different dates. Especially for us, we don't really book like 2 years in advance. We literally book like 4 months in advance. B, it's also, I feel like, it's just project managing. It's a bit annoying.
Okay.
Especially for someone that's not used to it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the first time you do it, when I remember first doing it the first tour, it was chaos.
Yeah.
Like, we were booking flights while we're on tour. That's how. I don't think people know what happens behind the scene. Like, no one taught us anything. We just had to figure it out. So it had this like naiveness to me,
Yeah.
and in some ways, it kind of got us through it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it depends on who you are as well. It's actually quite simple. But it's not easy. And
Like getting a 6-pack.
yes,
You just have to eat less and do a lot of sit-ups, but it's not easy.
it's not easy. Yeah. You gotta exercise a lot, eat less, be hungry
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
It's simple. That's it. Anyone can do it. I mean, most people can do it, right? But it's
Yeah.
just not easy. Good luck doing that for a year.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that. And I feel like you have to, honestly, look, if you have the will and you're willing to give up a lot of your time, it is so worth it.
Yeah.
Because then you can start learning and understanding things, which is, I think, is the most important thing I got out of it.
Okay. Why would you say learning the world behind, as a musician? Because I can imagine a lot of people be like, well, that's a lot of my time that could be spent practicing. That's a lot of my time that could be spent, pursuing my creative endeavors. But you think in some ways making that sacrifice and learning a bit about how the business side works is worth it?
I don't think it's for everyone. I just
Yeah.
put that out there first.
I can tell you already off my mind why I think it can be worth it.
Okay.
And that is because the number of times people have tried to kind of like scam us.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
also the number of times we have been scammed and we're just like, woo, but we learned the lesson.
Yeah.
And maybe we can share some of these lessons so people
Okay,
can
no,
know.
okay.
Right?
Look, you're right. Either you have two options. You have a mentor, someone that's been through it,
Yeah.
that can show you behind the scenes and protect you from these mistakes that other
Yeah.
people made. We don't have much of that, so we made every possible mistake.
Yeah.
Or, doing this as well, it makes you really see what's happening. You can
Yeah.
protect yourself
I
from-
think the first thing that really was impressed upon me is just how expensive things are in a touring.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even let's not even mention the people that then start to try and rip you off. But I remember our very first concert, even just hiring lav mics. I remember I was just blown away by how expensive these things cost. I mean, now it feels like no brainer to me, but as a musician, you just don't.
You don't
look
think
into
about
these
it. No,
things.
did you guys? I'm trying to put my hat on from 5 years ago. Did you know when you're at a concert and you want to hire a microphone, you're gonna have to pay $150 just for the 2-3 hour use.
Yep.
On top of that, though, you need an audio person. No, you can't get your friend who gets it. No. You have to use
Their person.
their person, which also costs about $800 a day.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
you can't
have
just
to
hire
have them for the whole day.
You have to have a whole day. I know your show is. I'm like talking to my 5-year-olds. Myself 5 years ago. I know your show is only 2 hours, and you only need like 1 hour rehearsal beforehand. Why do you have to hire for a whole day? that's the rules.
Mm.
I think that's just what it's like.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. There's reasons probably this happened, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you said, touring is so expensive,
Yeah.
very, very expensive. What eats up a lot of the ticket sales, in fact, a big percentage is venue hire,
Mm-hmm.
the personnels, and also all the equipment hire as well.
Mm.
Everything you add on will add on top.
Yes. And on the topic of venue hire, if any of you are out there thinking of holding your own concert, what suggestion do you have so people don't make the same mistake we made
Oh, okay.
recently when we were
Yeah.
quoted? I don't want to name names, right? But
Yeah, look,
you know what I'm talking
the
about.
thing is, okay, I'll just kind of like say this up front. I think
Okay.
they probably assumed that we act like an agency, we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
But still, it was a bit sus.
Yes.
So the whole idea is kind of like, basically we sign a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Contract looks fine. But more and more fees started adding up.
Yeah.
Started requesting these things. Hey, can we have this? Can we have that? Can we have this thing? My God, it 3x'd the initial
Mm.
quote.
Yeah.
And it
It was a lot of money.
It was so much money. I was terrified in some ways.
Okay, but the thing too is, they so this is what happens, right? Like they quote you the fee to get you to lock it in, and then you lock it in, you start promoting, you start selling the tickets. Because once we start selling the tickets, they know it's gonna look really bad on you to
just
cancel and
yeah.
refund on your fans. And so the moment you start selling tickets, they go, "Oh, actually, I'm not even kidding. One particular venue added $10,000 for us to have air conditioning."
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I remember at the time, I was just like, we were pretty shocked. And then we're like,
I thought it was part of the initial cost. just the-
yeah. And then they're like, "Oh no, if you see this tiny line in this contract, it basically hints that we can add a bunch of random costs that wasn't in the initial quote." I'm like, okay, but does air conditioning actually cost $10,000? And then they were like, well, I mean, should we say what they said? It was pretty outrageous.
Yeah, they're like, I think most of you, I don't want to get into that field, but they're
Yeah.
like, due to the war and blah, this is why. I'm like, that's not a reason.
Yeah.
You can't just pull that out of nowhere.
And then they were like, oh, but if you don't want, you can just do the concert without air conditioning. And I'm like, what? And just have all the performers and
Heat
audience
up.
sweat?
It's going to be like an open indoor sauna for everyone with a bit of classical music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we talked. Look, I feel bad, like professionally, probably shouldn't name the name, but I will just say that we have since then talked to other artists in that local area, and they were all like, yeah, because when we're touring internationally, you might not be familiar with every local place.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that venue kind of has a reputation for being sus and being shady.
Yeah.
And we've all kind of been burnt, so we know. And all of us wish we could speak up about it, but because they're connected, we're worried about getting blocked in the industry, saying things, and so we just all be quiet and like take it.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, that's just like exploitation, almost.
I know. I mean, it's like, I get it. Like, they're scared. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like the whole soloist thing as well. You get blocked.
Yeah.
Scared. They can't speak out.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I mean, look, our point of this is not to like expose these venues, but it's more like if you are thinking of making your own tour,
Watch
be
out
sure to actually read the
for-
contract.
yeah, don't do what we did and kind of just trust.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
Nah, because we've been burnt so many times.
Yeah.
Just trusting, kind of. Just, yeah, it should be fine. That
Yeah.
kind of feeling. It's annoying, and we all know we have to read it. So,
Mm.
but that's just one of them.
Yeah.
There's like many more situations where actually something everyone should look out for is also your kind of tech writer. Everything you need for the show should be very clear at the outset. But there's a issue most of the time is some venues won't give you the quote until after you've signed the contract.
No
You won't believe
way.
it. You don't.
No way.
Well, we've got a team that can testify for this. It's crazy. You go, here's our tech writer. Here's what we need. Can you give us like the cost?
Oh, hey, welcome to a two-set concert. We can't tell you how much the ticket's gonna cost yet, but you're just gonna come to our show, and then we'll tell you how much you decide to charge.
Yeah, it
It's like,
sounds
what?
crazy, right?
Yeah.
And to the viewers, you might be like, WTF? What's going on? But this legit happens to a lot
Mm.
of venues.
Mm.
I don't know what's going on. I haven't even bothered looking into it.
Mm.
I'm just too busy
Mm-hmm.
practicing 40 hours
Mm-hmm.
to be worrying about the stuff. But it does happen.
Mm.
And we've had team members. I remember being asking me, it's like, what do we do about this? It's so confused. I'm like, oh, we don't have a choice
Mm.
because this is legit only the venue that's
Mm-hmm.
available and decent for us to perform in.
Mm.
So yeah, watch out for those things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that situation does happen. You might have to like prepare a bit more money in your pocket just to cover for this in case it happens. Fortunately, we haven't had a crazy scenario where a big fee came,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just I feel like there's not much transparency.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like they can get away with it, especially when they know that there aren't many venues like them
yes,
in that
I
area.
think it's a supply and demand thing as well. There's just not enough venues.
Yeah.
So what happens is they can get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do about it? Who cares? Like, dude.
Oh, here's another one to watch out for. Okay, so a lot of venues, they will give you the quote. Like how much to rent the venue, $50,000, $100,000, whatever. But then what they don't tell you, unless you read all the fine print, sometimes it's not even related to them, it's in the ticketing platform side, is they then also take a big percentage of all your ticket sales.
Oh yeah.
All your revenue,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of if you make zero money at all. Doesn't matter if everything ends up being a loss, they still take that percentage.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's something else to watch out for. Like sometimes there is the venue high cost, there's all the tech stuff on top of it, there's all the random utilities they can add on top of it, and then there is the percentage of ticket sales.
I really
They
wish ticketing platforms literally just show. Oh, I mean, I don't know how much our tickets cost now. Roughly, I'm just gauging
Yeah.
average, right? Let's say a ticket to our show is $150.
Mhm.
And of course, we all know there's ticketing fees. We all pay like at booking fees, $5, $7.
Mhm.
But what it really should be like is for some venues and ticketing venues, it should be like $80 plus
All the stuff
100
they're
yeah,
taking.
Yeah, like it's $100 plus $50 booking fee,
Yeah.
ticketing fee.
Yeah.
It really is like that. Again, it's like, what can you do about it? Like, and the thing
Merchandising, they take a cut off a lot of
Yes.
times.
yeah,
Yeah.
merchandise take a cut, so just watch out for that. We don't make money on the merchandises when the fans buy on the spot, but
Yeah.
I think it's more for the experience. I like
Yeah.
I like the idea that the merchandise is there because I would want the merchandise there.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, you can buy it online too, but it's there for people who can see it in
That
person.
on the day, right?
When it's
Yeah.
on the day, it's fun and it makes sense, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, we don't make much, barely anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just look, it's to us it's like all normal now. But if I was to tell myself 5 years ago, all of these were big shocks,
Yeah.
massive shocks. I was like, what?
Be prepared.
Just be prepared. And that's why I say it's not really meant for everyone in that sense before. It's like, you have to know yourself first. Are you okay with the agency taking a big cut? Because they can handle all of this for you.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it yourself, it could be more rewarding, but just be prepared. There's going to be a lot of surprises that surprise us no one talks about. And especially if you're a musician or someone that's starting. Yeah.
I remember, again, I'm not going to say names, but we're hanging out with a YouTuber. And he signed to an agency. And he was doing a tour. And in one particular city, I hope he doesn't mind us sharing this story, but I won't say who or whatever. He sold out that venue. So they were like, hey, why don't we upsize to a bigger venue? And so you think with the bigger venues selling more tickets, it'll be better. But somewhere in the terms and conditions, that bigger venue, I don't remember exactly the story, something about all the chairs they had to bring in or
Yeah,
something.
the cost added up.
Yeah. He actually ended up making $0 from that concert.
Close to nothing, yeah.
Close to nothing.
Because some clause said by adding seats in, you will have to pay for more fees. I'm imagining, okay, look, I've seen it all. They can give you add more insurance, fire hazard fees, additional costs, labor. If you want someone to move a chair, no, you can't move it yourself. They have to hire someone for 10 hours to just move 5 chairs.
Oh, I remember like, piano tuning.
Oh, don't get me started on
Piano
that.
tuning. Like, how much is it to tune the piano?
It's like $500.
But then you also have to untune it again. Like,
Yes,
well, you have
so-
to tune it after the concert as well.
Yeah, so that's how we tune to 441. And their piano tuning is usually 441. Or let's say 440. You want to tune to 441, you got to pay.
Yeah.
Fine. Get the piano tuner in. I think they deserve to get paid. They work really hard.
Yeah.
But then you got to pay again for them to tune it back to 440.
Mm-hmm. So shouldn't that be the next person's thing? Yeah.
So shouldn't that be the next person's thing while we playing this game?
Okay.
So
And
yeah.
then also, if you need to move the piano and there is any slight lift of like 2 centimeters, that's another $1,000.
Yeah, I remember. That was years back.
I
remember
forgot why. They had some reasons like they need to bring in like a little ramp, and that's gonna be $1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know their side of the things. Maybe as a piano mover, these costs are justified. I don't know, but it's more like be prepared.
Yeah, just be prepared. I think everyone doing it, just be prepared. There's
Yeah.
going to be surprises left, right, center.
Yeah.
Like, heck, like, I don't know, like, the water you drink is going to be billed like $50. No, I'm not just joking. But do we have that situation?
Speaking of that, one venue charged us more because we weren't selling alcohol, and they put that on later.
Yeah, I
Speaking
remember.
of water, they're like, oh, we forgot to tell you, our venue usually does like 18 plus concerts, like bands where we make our money from alcohol sales. So because you're not selling alcohol, we're gonna add on this fee. So that's another
It
one.
was
to sell.
around, I'll do it in US dollars. It was around 4,000. We had to add 4,000, 5,000 US dollars. And also just remember, the exact same menu, I won't say the name, also charged us more because we wanted people under a certain age to come in. A lot of our fans are families as well. You want the kids to come because it's friendly for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. Kids have a great time. Adults have a great time. Teenagers. Everyone has a great time.
Yeah,
But they were like, I think we wanted to bring people under 12 or 14 years old.
yeah.
So there was literally some law, some rule, a law.
It's not a law. It's
or
a
some, or some rule
rule they had.
where you had to pay. It was, again, around 5,000, 6,000 US dollars, just so people under the age of 14 or something like that can
And
come in.
and the best bit, they told us that after we started selling tickets, and kids have already bought our tickets. So what are we gonna do? Like tell the kids, sorry, you can't come? Of course
Yeah.
not, right?
Of course not. That's not fair at all. There's so many stories. We're just at the tip of the iceberg. I think
Yeah.
if we really think about it, I can come up with like at least 50 good stories that's going on. But yeah, I think these are some things you have to look out for.
Yeah.
That's what makes it really tricky doing these tours. Again, it's like, do you want to go through this?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a bit of a change of pace because those are kind of some of the more negative things. What are some of the more pleasant surprises or cool things
Oh, right.
that you did not expect on tour? Like things that you did not expect to happen to us. They're like, holy moly, this is so cool. I can start off with one.
Okay, you can start.
Our first tour was the reason we got to meet Hilary Hahn.
Yeah, that's so true.
Somehow we connected on tour because when you're traveling and touring, you get to meet so many other artists around the world.
Mhm.
And I remember when we first met in New York,
Yes,
It
at the
was like-
cafe in the morning, right? Because
Yeah.
you had to go to another concert in that same day.
it was like a triple fangirling moment
Yeah,
to the three of us.
yeah. Everyone's fanboying.
She suggested, oh, so funny.
Oh.
Every time we're with Hillary, she throws us some like wild idea that we know is a great idea, but she always drops it to us like last minute. So like 5-6 years ago, she was like, "You guys should do a concert in Boston, because we didn't schedule one in Boston yet at the time, and it's like, I'll be there. So if you do one in Boston, I can join for the encore.
And I remember thinking, I don't care if no one comes. We're just gonna book a venue.
And this was like what, 2.5 weeks before.
This was like, yeah, we were already on tour in America, and then we had like 3 weeks left until that day when she was available.
Yeah.
In Boston, and I think the Boston fans that went there must be really happy to hear this.
Yeah.
Like, wow, we put it on so last minute, and I thought, all right, we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I've already booked the whole freaking USA tour. We're gonna make this happen. And so, when she left, first thing I did was, because we did everything ourselves then, and it's a very small team. Pretty much it was me calling everything, doing everything, called the venues up. Any venue, I don't care what it was, like library, I don't know, I don't care. Just have a stage, have some seats, and that's it. Now, the idea of having Hillary join us on stage was like a dream come true,
Yeah.
especially for our classical musician kind of like self, right?
Yeah.
So we're practicing. She's got like that idol that everyone looks up to.
Yeah.
I listened to her all the time on YouTube recordings when I was young.
Yeah.
I still do, like just getting motivated, inspired. So yeah, I found one like theater, was a bit sus, but like theater it was all right. Like it was just old, but managed to do it, and we had 2 weeks to sell tickets.
2 weeks. And mind you, this is in an industry where traditionally people book 2 years in advance.
Yes, the venue 2 years in advance, and ticket sales happen like a year in advance.
And the people had always told us, book is in 6 months, impossible.
Yeah, actually, they all say it's impossible. I think that was proof to me then.
And then Brett Yang comes along with this mobile phone, being like, I'm gonna get this done.
Yeah, he's just
When are you available? Help, we need to get.
I just need this day. I don't care if it's half a day. Give me 3 hours.
I have to say, I'm so grateful you can do it, because I can't do that. I'm way too introverted to be calling. Because emails, they don't reply, right? Sometimes if you email, they take their sweet time.
Oh, it depends also on what country. I won't say which country, but some countries are slow, mate. Slow, like
Adagio.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not giving any hints, but they're slow. Like, dude, I could learn like a whole freaking sonata during that time, and that's long as for me. Like, give me the whole Beethoven sonata. I'll learn it before they respond to your first email.
Yeah.
It's not all of them, just some.
Yeah.
My God, they're so slow. So props to the States being so quick with it,
Yeah.
especially that venue.
That was crazy. And then,
we
oh, sorry.
there you
I was going to say then 2 years before, so 2022, we met Hillary in Sydney, and again, she dropped a crazy bomb on us, being like, 2 days before a concert, she's like, I appeared on your show for an encore. Why don't you appear on mine for an encore?
And I was thinking, nah, I'm okay, I'm good. Like, I don't feel particularly comfortable playing in front of a professional orchestra with no notice.
In front of the Sydney Symphony, your old colleagues.
I know. And I was thinking like, Hillary, look, we don't just whip out concertos like you do. Someone literally could call Hillary up and say, hey, want to play Mendelssohn next week? She could do it.
Yeah.
Hey, can we play Barber? She's like, yeah, give me a day.
Yeah.
I can probably get this up. Before us, Hillary just, I think Hillary, we're not playing concerto, but even then, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, 2 days notice, it's pretty stressful.
Well, for the context of Opera House, next to Hillary, in front of the Sydney Symphony.
And
like, bro, that's
and
a
I
lot of
felt bad.
pressure.
I was like, are you sure? Because I'm not sure if the audience is, like, will they be offended that there's two dudes that can't play that well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they pay so much money to watch you to hear great playing, and we're just, not really up there.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you'll be fine. To be fair, she made the right call, because I was like, I'm not sure people know us. Like, your audience is probably different. And so we found this piece called Gabot by Dvorak.
Yeah, for three violins. Yeah.
So rare, 3 violins.
Yeah.
And we got the music. We found Baron Ryder had the music.
Yeah. Da 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 da. I still remember, dude. Like that melody's drilled in my head.
Okay, the piece was really easy. It was like grade 1, grade 2.
I wouldn't say grade 1. The spiccato.
Okay, grade 3,
Yeah.
max. Grade 4, max.
Yeah.
Right. Grade 3. And for our level of standards, really easy. But because we're playing in 2 days and all that in that context, it felt like we're trying to learn Paganini.
Yeah.
We have never practiced or over practiced a piece like this so hard. I
It's so
literally
overkill.
I remember Eddie practicing a string crossing for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, dude, it's not that hard. But and then Eddie's just like stressing. I was like, he's like, I can't get the string cross. I can't get the string. I'm like, dude, you're stressing me out. That's how to practice. I was like, I'm missing these notes.
Yeah.
Oh, the intonation's not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, we did it.
Mm.
And thanks to Hillary, props.
Mhm.
Shout out to her for giving us that incredible opportunity. Like,
Yes.
and I remember when we walked on stage, wow, the applause was huge. Everyone was like, wow. And I think I felt a sense of relief. So, at least some people know us. Like, because I was so scared that no one's going to know us. Maybe like some of the students did. And I was so scared that we're just bombing Hillary's concert. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, nah. It was actually, the overlapping audience was quite significant.
significant, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was cheering. I was like, wow. And I felt a bit more comfortable. Still very nervous though.
Yes. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Almost more nerve-wracking than our own concert in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if we mess up our own concert, we mess up our own concert. But it's like, you don't want to be known as the dude that messed up Hillary Hahn's concert, right? It's like,
I know.
it's like playing a duo with Federer and then like messing
Doubles.
up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. You're on Federer's team. And someone serves you miss. Federer's like, bro, I can't save you on that one. Like, why did you just miss the serve?
Yeah.
I'm at the net. I can't do it. Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah.
100%. That's why it was so stressful. Like, it was so nerve-wracking. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, what else was cool on tour? I think I love the energy, meeting people in the room. I think touring just feels hype in general. It's always cool.
It was freaking exciting.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. Again, all the 2-setters out there, if you're watching this far. Honestly, we're super grateful. Just so happy we can share the stage with you. And for those who haven't been, we really welcome you there because the energy is so good. We get a lot of people say in our concerts they've never seen a classical music concert like that.
I mean, I've never seen a classical
Me
music
neither,
concert like that.
I've never seen that as well.
Yeah.
And every time we go on, doesn't matter how jet lagged we are, it's just there. Like,
Yeah.
adrenaline kicks in, energy is there, we have
Yeah.
fun. And I think that's the best part, honestly. We can share this moment with all our fans that's been following us for the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And of course, traveling, you get to see a lot of parts of the different world. I feel like traveling also makes you get more perspective on different things, right?
In what way?
Well, just, everyone grows up in their own culture, lifestyle.
Yeah.
You forget that there's a whole world out there.
Mm-hmm.
So while we all relate on a lot of things, but there's just so many things that are very different and unique. Like Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, North America. Like, there's just and there's still a lot of parts of the world we haven't been to.
True.
But what we've seen so far, it's like, man, like,
Where haven't you been? I mean, we've talked about this, but what do you think would be the craziest place for us to perform? Just like wildest. Not craziest place, like what's some place that we haven't performed in that you want to play in?
oh, I actually,
The Colosseum.
that would be pretty sick.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
Dressed up as a gladiator.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
Not really.
Okay, no, I didn't,
But I don't
wanna
know
be a
why I thought of
gladiator.
that.
I wouldn't last long, but
I don't know.
we've played in a lot of concert halls.
Are we doing Europe soon? Is that official? Can we talk about this?
Ooh, yes, Europe might be official soon, but keep an eye out.
Okay, yeah.
I think in a few weeks. Keep an eye out, fans.
So I know we did some Europe cities, but there
yeah,
may
we
be
did,
more.
We did a couple Europe cities last year, but everything was sort of so quick. Everyone's kind of like, I know, we heard you guys. So everyone's like, what about all these other cities in Europe? And I think people making memes like, Europe, 2 cities. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. What about China? Is that a thing?
Possibly as well. I don't know if there's Chinese fans watching this. If you're a Chinese fan, comment below. Let us know. Definitely. Look, for those of you watching this far, if you want us on tour, help us know if we can go there. If you can go on our World Tour page and sign up. Just so we know kind of the demand and if it's worth doing a show there. Of course, we'd love to do a show in every city, like without a doubt. But generally, it has to be kind of a number that we get to before it makes it worthwhile for the whole team and
Yeah.
everyone to put kind of energy and time into it.
Yeah.
If it was just us, yeah, heck yeah, I'd love to go. But
Yeah.
for the sake of touring purposes,
Mm.
yeah, we have to be a bit responsible on that front.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many cities I want to go to. I hope we get there eventually.
Yeah. Cool. On
Cool.
that note,
Should we
there
wrap?
you go. Do a tour. It'll be fun.
Yeah, you look so tired.
I was thinking about all
Do
the
a
work and the
tour.
practice and the flying, and
Oh,
I'm like,
fun.
oh, I need
Oh.
to sleep.
yeah, sleep. No, seriously, it's worth it. If you get the chance to tour, it's one of the coolest things you can do
Mm.
as a musician. It's like a dream come true.
Mm.
We'll always give it your all, and as always, I feel like just keep practicing.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Everything life is good after
Mm.
practicing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's it for today's first episode. It's a bit long with this freestyle. If you guys like it, if you want more different topics, like kind of what we'll put in. Sorry, if you guys, I'm tired now. So like,
Right. G up. G up. It's late,
If
but
you
we
guys
gotta
wanna
G
know-
up.
anything you guys want us to talk about, comment below. We'll definitely read it. And
Yeah.
if you guys like this stuff, we'll keep doing this other things. I feel like this is a great place for us to get more dive deep into a lot of things. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, please like and subscribe as usual, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Two Set Talks.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Practice.